The PlayStation exclusive train continues to roll on as a studio that's been pretty familiar with PlayStation is continuing to work on multiple PlayStation exclusives, so I want to take a look at that. Also, we know that Square Enix is working on an Avengers project, and the site has finally been updated. An announcement is even being teased. Remember, this was announced all the way back in early 2017. It's about time we hear more on it. Also, there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Final Fantasy 15 recently, and rightfully so. A lot of the content has been cut out. Square Enix has lost a ton of money on the Luminous production studio, and FF15 game director Hajime Tabata has resigned. However, we have an update on the shipment numbers for Final Fantasy 15, and they are very, very good, but there's more to the story on that. And lastly, the reviews for Spyro Reignited Trilogy have been posted. The game officially releases tomorrow, and the reviews as of this moment are looking very, very positive, so I'll be taking a look at that at the end of this video. First of all, Supermassive Games, the guys that put out Until Dawn on the PlayStation 4, one of the PlayStation 4's most surprising exclusives. That studio is working on more PlayStation 4 exclusives. Here's what they said in an interview. Quote, "While the relationship with Sony is still excellent, we are working on several unannounced PlayStation exclusives. True, it's impossible to talk about them in detail. In general, I really wanted to present our work to the wildest possible audience. That is, the Dark Pictures needs to be released on several platforms." The Dark Pictures Anthology is their next game, and that game will be a multi-platform title. However, Supermassive Games does look to be working on more PlayStation exclusives. Whether that be PlayStation 4 exclusives, PlayStation VR titles, that still remains to be seen. Remember that while they are most known for Until Dawn, they have worked on a couple of other titles, including Until Dawn Rush of Blood, The Impatient Bravo Team, and a couple of other VR-related titles. I think Until Dawn is a game that a lot of people would like to see a sequel of. It seems like as the years have passed, Until Dawn has garnered more and more of a following, and even at its initial release, it was a well-received game, but now that it's readily available for a very cheap price, and I think more gamers have just played it, it seems like there is a certain level of fandom surrounding the game, and I think a sequel for that title could be something that does rather well. Will it do Marvel Spider-Man well or God of War well? Probably not, but not every exclusive needs to do that well, and I think an Until Dawn 2 could do rather well. What we know now is that Supermassive Games are working on a bunch of projects, and they're working on multiple unannounced PlayStation exclusives. Moving on from that, we know that Square Enix is hard at work at a brand new Avengers project. That game was announced all the way back in early 2017. We still don't know much about it. However, the website for the title has been updated, and here's the entire new listing. Quote, "Marvel Entertainment and Square Enix have announced a new multi-year multi-game licensing agreement to develop and publish original games based on beloved Marvel superheroes, beginning with the Avengers. The newly established partnership pairs the creative minds at Marvel and Square Enix for one of the most powerful alliances in interactive entertainment. The first blockbuster game is being crafted by Crystal Dynamics, developers of the award-winning Tomb Raider series, in collaboration with Eidos Montreal, the home of the critically acclaimed and award-winning Deus Ex game series. The Avengers project is being designed for gamers worldwide and will be packed with all the characters, environments, and iconic moments that have thrilled longtime fans of the franchise, featuring a completely original story. And what's very interesting, if you browse around the projects page on Crystal Dynamics' website, there's a button leading to the Avengers project, and it does have a new label on it that was founded by Gear Nuke. There's been job listings also that tease that this game might be a cross-gen title being released on current-gen platforms as well as next-gen platforms, and based on the description of the game, it does seem like that this is an online-focused game, and they want to provide longevity to the game, so I can see it being a cross-gen title. Whatever the case may be, with a studio like Crystal Dynamics at the helm of an Avengers project, that is very, very exciting. And that's probably one of the main reasons that Crystal Dynamics did step away from Tomb Raider for the time being. Remember, Shadow of the Tomb Raider was mostly worked on by Eidos Montreal. Whatever the case may be, we'll probably hear something about Square Enix's Avengers project, maybe even the Game Awards. I could see this game having a major fixture at the Game Awards show. That's just speculation on my part, but with Jeff Keighley saying that they have a massive lineup, a game like the Avengers, that could definitely be a big title to show off at that show. Speaking of Square Enix, of course, one of Square Enix's most popular properties is Final Fantasy. A lot of negativity surrounding Final Fantasy 15 right now after the announcement of a bunch of the DLC being canceled, and that was announced on the second-year anniversary of the game. Episode Arden will still be coming. However, the FF15 ride is probably coming to an end. However, commercially, Final Fantasy 15 has done pretty well. It has hit the 8.4 million mark, and that is the number for shipped copies worldwide, so not entirely purchased through, but still 8.4 million shipped is a very, very impressive number. And that puts Final Fantasy 15 at being the third highest selling Final Fantasy game ever, just behind Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X, and while that sounds impressive on the surface, do remember that with Final Fantasy 15, this is a game that Square Enix poured a ton of money into. So even with 8.4 million copies being shipped worldwide, that probably wasn't even enough to recoup the entirety of the cost that Final Fantasy 15 brought with it. This was a game that was in development for 10 years, and in that 10-year time span, I'm sure Square Enix poured millions upon millions of dollars, and they did even announce an insane $33 million loss for Luminous Production, the studio behind FF15. And with Hajime Tabata resigning, even with an 8.4 million number attached to it, that just wasn't enough. But still, as far as a game doing well from a commercial standpoint, the majority of studios would be thrilled with an 8.4 million number. It's just that it doesn't really correlate with the amount of money they've poured into FF15. I think that's one of the main reasons why Square Enix tried to keep it alive for so long. If they could turn it into a game that they constantly release new content for and updated it and made it an expanding experience, maybe at some point they could at least make some of their money back, but at this point I think they just decided to cut their losses. And moving on from that, and lastly, Spyro Reignited Trilogy is officially releasing tomorrow, and the reviews for the game have been posted. The Metacritic score right now is at a very positive 84, and it has been fluctuating a little bit. I've checked it a couple times today, and it was at an 82 earlier. There are only 14 critic reviews posted right now, but IGN gave the game an 8.5 out of 10. PlayStation Lifestyle gave it a 9 out of 10. Attack of the Fanboy gave it a 9 out of 10. The lowest score is from Gameblog.fr. They gave it a 7 out of 10, which is still very, very positive. Overall, the reviews are looking rather good, and if you're a fan of Spyro back in the day and you want to get that nostalgic itch scratched, Spyro Reignited Trilogy will be a great way to do so. And yes, to a lot of people, an 84 on Metacritic doesn't sound all too good, but just remember, an 84 is still a really, really good score, especially with a game like this that is just a remaster. You already kind of know what you're getting when you're going into Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and to get all three games looking the way that they do on the PlayStation 4, I think it's going to be something that pleases a lot of people, especially those of us that played Spyro back in the day. But generally, if you just want a great trio of excellent platformers, Spyro Reignited Trilogy is going to have you covered with that as well. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, Supermassive Games is working on multiple PlayStation exclusives. I would imagine a couple of VR titles, maybe an Until Dawn 2. I think that's something that people would be very, very pleased with. Square Enix's The Avengers project has had an update on its site. An announcement might be coming very soon. I am predicting the Game Awards. I could see this game showing up then, but we shall see. Final Fantasy 15 has shipped 8.4 million copies worldwide, and Spyro Reignited Trilogy is sitting at a very good 84 on Metacritic right now. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.